going to make it as clear as I can. Brand new, Death Cab for Cutie. Gleemer. I don't make the rules. It's just how it is. Welcome, my fellow wannabes. Welcome to the channel, whether you're watching on the Wannabe Critic or Reckless Music page. I have to say thank you so much for watching today's review. We have an album review coming in today by the band Gleemer. With this particular record down as a indie rock record, and I would say that's fairly accurate. And I meant what I said at the outset whenever, it's brand new meets Death Cab for Cutie, and I if the band ever watches this or listens to this, then, I mean no offense, because those could be, one of those could be taken negatively, or both of them, or maybe that wasn't what they were going for at all. The point is that's what I hear, and that's what other people have kind of agreed with me. That's kind of, after I said that, they're like, oh my God, like, yeah, it kind of does sound like that. And that's not a bad thing, because you're talking about two very intricate bands, kind of taking the best parts of both of those sounds and making something new. Now, I'm going to do something that I don't usually do, and I'm going to talk about all the bad things, or all the things I don't like about this record first. Let's just switch it up a little bit. So first things first, this album is 9 songs. I cannot differentiate any of these songs from one another because they sound so similar. There's such a distinct sound that all of them have. They all have this, they all kind of have this vibe that make them all run together. I was listening to it in the car with my wife, and, we kind of have this thing of like, kind of asked her, like, is this doing anything for you? Like, is this really, making you feel anything? And she's like, yeah, and it was for me too. But she's like, yeah, I just don't really feel like there's nothing that is standing out, and that's kind of how I felt in this, the same way. That being said, I feel like there's this phrase that's been kind of thrown around, quite a bit recently, adjusting the microphone. People will say like, oh, this thing is a mood, or this thing, how does it go? This thing, oh, this thing is a mood, or whatever. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you get what I'm saying. That's what this record is. I feel like this is one of those records you would throw on if you've had a bad day, or if you're kind of down in the dumps, or you're wanting something just kind of chill to relax to. It's a very relaxing record whenever it comes to that. That being said, it kind of reminds me and kind of falls into the same category that Cigarettes After Sex falls into, where you can tell that that is their distinct sound, because every single record they put out sounds exactly like that. And you know what you're getting whenever you're going into it. There's not really a hope of any diversity, because your expectation is at a certain point. Now, this band, I feel like it can't really fall into that as much, even though this record does, because their previous albums don't really sound anything like this. In fact, I enjoyed their previous works more than I enjoyed this album. And that's not to say that this album is bad. It's just maybe it hit me at a different time that I didn't really want anything like this. I wanted something with a little more diversity and a little more pep in it. But for the sake of the review, I feel like what this album is trying to set out, which is it isn't trying to be diverse. It is very straightforward and kind of not one directional, but just sort of focused. It's a more focused album for a certain mood. Now, whether or not that's going to make me want to listen to this all the time, it's not. I'm not going to want to just put this on and listen to it all the time. For me personally, I'm going to put this on and listen to it for a week or so, and then I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to forget this band even exists, because I don't particularly listen to this style of music all the time. Now, that being said, I feel like there is a huge audience within the spectrum of what alternative and indie rock really even is, that is going to appeal to this. This album is going to appeal to that audience. And I feel like this record, would definitely be a step in the right direction toward that audience. And I think that the audience will find this record to be very pleasing and easy on the ears. It has nothing to do with the talent of the band. I think the band is talented, and I do think that they do sound good. It just gets old very fast. So that being said, this probably seems like I'm kind of ripping on this a little bit. Just the fact of the matter is I had maybe what would appear to be more negative things to say about more positive. I still think it's a decent listen. I think you should definitely listen to it and form your own opinion. And we can talk about it in the comments, because you're going to be commenting down below. That being said, I feel like this record falls right out of 7 for me, which is, it's good. It's perfectly fine and good, and it serves its purpose for me, and I think it served its purpose for what I wanted it to be, and I feel like it's going to serve its purpose for what other people want it to be as well, for a different reason. So there you go. Well, if you liked what you've seen here and you want to see more, definitely check out my other videos, either on the Wannabe Critics YouTube page or Reckless Music's YouTube page. I have other things over there. Go follow me on Facebook. Go follow them on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all the stuff. I also have a podcast called The Wannabe Critic. You can go check that out as well. Pretty much any social media handle, just The Wannabe Critic. That's all you got to search. And then on my ugly face will pop up. So there you go. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the Wannabe Critic.